officially welcome to this Art of Letting Go live session. Elaine Kim, so some good sharing there, which I think has prepared us nicely for our teaching today. So we'll just dive into the email for today, which is an inspiration quote as usual, and then some commentary on that, and that'll lead us nicely into today's lesson, which is another review lesson. Okay, so let me share my screen. All right, so Kim, if you can read that quote for us. The headline quote.
Many are the names of God, and infinite the forms through which he may be approached.
Exactly what we were just talking about in our share. There's many paths to God, many ways. And they all lead, to the same place.
Yeah.
To the one reality, we call God. The 19th century mystic speaks about the universality of God, or perfect love can be approached in many ways. I'd say, well, why is this? So if God or love is ultimate awareness or being, it stands to reason that it must underlie all forms in this world. So you can perceive and approach God or in anything, ranging from the most magnificent sunset to the most seemingly insignificant insect, if you so choose. As an example, so it's seeing this underlying, even in form, you see underlying the form, you see the truth in everything. Now, the truth is still true and underlies whatever you're experiencing in form. So I had an experience of this a while ago. I was just observing some ants, this random chaotic nature of their movement. You see these ants just scurrying around. You go, what are they all doing? They just, you know what ants are like. They just run there and then they turn around. They go, and it just seems very random and chaotic. And it took me into the deep realization of the insanity of the ego, which remember is just the belief in separation, by helping me to extrapolate these effects to human beings. So most human beings are just running around, busy with all kinds of stuff they think's important, just like the ants are, but actually really going nowhere. And it's all pretty random and scattered. We're stuck on this, little planet. I mean, extraordinary, really. Circling around the Earth at something like 500,000 miles an hour, and hurtling through space. The universe is expanding. I mean, we just like what's actually, on the physical level seemingly going on is extraordinary, but it's like doesn't even have any purpose or meaning. So we're all running around, or, you look at human activity and everyone's busy and doing stuff, but doesn't even actually mean anything. So this can, actually in that moment help me to confirm the choice for the reality of God or love. And to let go of your attachment to the form. So it requires this acceptance of true reality, God or love, requires no frantic scurrying around in search of something outside us, which is what almost every person not on a genuine spiritual path is doing in their lives. Another good example related to insects as well is the moment of awakening. Yeshua calls a holy instance in the course they call Satori and Zen, that happened to spiritual teacher and author Byron Katie. So her backstory is that she was really depressed. She was stuck in self-loathing. She was often unable to get out of bed for days or weeks. So by her mid-40s, she was a mess. She was severely depressed. She was agoraphobic, which meant she was scared of open spaces. She was overeating. She was addicted to codeine, which is a prescription drug, and alcohol. So pretty much, nothing's working. She's got all these addictions. Her life's just not functional. So she goes to a women's kind of counseling center. 2 weeks of being, at the center and self-reflection. She wakes up on the floor of her room, and the reason she was sleeping on the floor was she didn't feel worthy to sleep on a bed. How's that? Your self-image is so low that you think you have to sleep on a floor, even though there was a bed. So she's sleeping next to the bed on the floor, and this bug crawls over her foot, a cockroach, and she just observes it. In that moment, she didn't have an adverse reaction. She's like, oh my God, that's disgusting, get it off me. She just went into a state of pure awareness, observed it, and she had no self-identification. So in that moment, herself had just dropped away, and she saw with a clear awareness this cockroach, and realized on a deep level in that moment that it was her own beliefs that had been creating her suffering, and she suddenly perceived everything differently. She saw that all of her suffering came from her thoughts about her life situation. My life is horrible. I don't deserve to be happy. I don't even deserve to, sleep on a bed. I'm that unworthy. This is all happening in the mind, and not from the situation itself. She realized the simple truth. When she believed her thoughts, she suffered, and when she didn't believe them, she was happy. And that all came from this, one moment of clear insight that morning. And out of this insight, she developed a process of self-inquiry, which she called simply the work. That healed her mind, helped her let go of her depression, fears, addictions, and become a healer. It's helped hundreds of thousands of people change their lives over the last 35 years. So the work just asks a few simple questions. And it starts off with, do you know this is true? Do you know this is true? And then the second question is, can you absolutely know that it's true? Just in case you didn't quite get it on the first time. And most things you can't. If it's in form, if it's anything in this world, you can't know anything for sure. You don't know it's absolutely true. You might go, oh, that person is mean, or that person is an evil person. Well, can you absolutely say that's true? No, you can only judge based on their behavior and your interpretation of their behavior, which may be completely faulty. So you can never, say absolutely. And then, the third one is, well, who would I be without this thought? That's an interesting question. Who would I be without the thought? I'm thinking this person is evil and this person has hurt me or whatever. Okay, so who would I be without the thought? Because then you're going directly to the self-concept, aren't you? Well, I'd be different. I'd have a different self-concept then.
And then
finally, the fourth question is the turnaround. She says, reframe it and say, so instead of saying someone hurt me, oh, well, I'm upset because someone did this to me. Turn it around and say, well, how did I do that to them? They didn't do it to me, I did it to them. Or, there's other ways of turning it around as well. So you're changing your perception. So it's really a very similar, technique to Course in Miracles, of changing your perception. It's a letting go of an old perception and adopting of a new one. That's more helpful.
So, sorry, the last one is I did it to them, meaning.
Yeah, so you turn it around. Let's just see the work. will take us to the website. So there's different ways of turning it around. Just taken to the upcoming events, school podcast. The final question is, see if we can find it here. There's a downloads. Inquiry, the 4 questions and the turnarounds. Download in English. So there we go. So there's a worksheet, and you start off with using the 4 questions. Read, loving, what is? Okay. Question this thought. 4 questions and the turnarounds on the back. So there we go. We've got the 4 questions. Just a minute. So is it true? Can you absolutely know that it's true? First 2 questions. So I've got to judge. I start with my, I'm upset with whoever because they did this to me. Quite similar to Instrument for Peace, really. You just unpack and say. So can I say that it's true? Is it true? Can I absolutely know that it's true? And those questions will reveal that you can't know that it's true because it's a perception that you've got. How do you know that's absolutely true? How do you react when what happens, and what happens when you believe that thought? And then who or what would you be without the thought? Yeah, and then the turnaround is like it's not a question; it's something that you do afterwards. So then you turn the thought around. So instead of I'm upset because Paul lied to me, you could turn around and say I lied to me, or I lied to Paul, or Paul didn't lie to me, or Paul told me the truth. You see, so you've changed your perception of the situation by doing the turnaround. So it's a self-inquiry process. It came out of her awareness because she had the clarity of awareness. These questions came to her and formulated to help, to give some kind of practice to this awareness. So again, there's a practice that develops. It's a work which is helpful to lead you to a state where you don't need to practice anymore. Right? At a state, in a state of pure formless awareness of perfect love, you don't need to turn thoughts around anymore. You don't need to question if it's true or not, because you're out of that state. You've transcended. You're in pure formless awareness, perfect love. Okay, so yeah, any thoughts or questions on the work? It's just a really good, it's a good self-inquiry practice, and very simple questions. Just, is it true? Can I absolutely know this is true? How do I react when I believe that thought? And who or what would I be without the thought? And so 4 simple questions would just help you to turn it around. Okay, so
thank you, Jono.
Work helps people let go of the fundamental cause of their illness, which, as Yeshua says clearly in this quote, is their desire. This illness is some form of external searching, always. And so that's symbolized often by money in our world. What symbolizes the external search is money. Because I need to make money to go buy something that's outside of me, that's going to give me what I think I want. So money and searching and desire and attachment sort of tend to go hand in hand. That's why I said, you just make a choice. You've got 2 masters. You can serve God or you can serve mammon, called it. The illusion that requires something outside of you. So this echoes the second noble truth taught by the Buddha 500 years before Yeshua, that desire or craving for something outside oneself is the source of all suffering. That's fundamental teaching of Buddhism. This leads nicely into another interpretation of today's quote, which is that there are many different ideas that are symbols of or pointers to the truth. Many ways finding it. Symbols, pointers to God or love. And these pointers typically show up as different dogmas in religions that their fundamentalist followers incorrectly perceive as the ultimate truth. They think the pointer is the truth. No, it's just a pointer. The ritual isn't the truth. The practice isn't the truth. It's a pointer to the truth. It's a way to the truth. And so then, fixed beliefs becomes a dogma. Dogma is just a fixed belief. Actually blinds people to the very truth they claim to be ardently seeking through their religious path. So dogmas inevitably create separation because those who don't share the believer's faith in them are seen to be separate from the believer and some kind of threat that needs to be guarded against. So there's the believer and the unbeliever, the believer and the heathen, or the infidel. I think they call it in unbelievers in Islam. Whatever you call it. Now there's us and them, right? So now we seem to be separate. This denies the truth of the underlying unity between every person and sentient being on this planet as extensions of the same creative source. And so this kind of thing has gone on for a long time in many spiritual communities, many paths. The ego is spiritual ego is alive and well. I mentioned the story again, but I'll mention it again in this context. I did a Vipassana meditation retreat a couple of years ago. It's the original form of meditation taught by the Buddha, which I was interested in, not because I wanted to study Buddhism. I was interested in the practice of the meditation. Because I've taught meditation, I've done meditation. Okay, well, maybe there's something there that I can learn. So I let the lady I was dealing with in this organization that promotes the teachings of the Course in Miracles, I let her know, just out of courtesy, say, look, I'm going to be offline 10 days. Just understand. So if you send me an email, I'll get back to you when I'm finished. Just so that there was no potential for it to email and go, well, I've emailed you and why haven't you come back? But actually they had a policy to exclude teachers who seem to be in any following another spiritual path in any way, because they're not quite pure enough to teach A Course in Miracles. Which I was like, really? Even though the whole message of A Course in Miracles is that we are one. Excluding anyone from that unity on any invented grounds, just another separation device the ego uses to justify its apparent separate identity. And Yeshua, says very explicitly, that it's universal theology is impossible. The universal experience is not only possible but necessary. It's this universal experience that he's emphasizing, and he says there's many ways. All paths. Introduction. He says all paths eventually lead to God. So there are many ways. This is the only way. So why are you excluding someone? Because apparently you don't agree with this, with what I've done. But who are you to judge? Who are you to say I shouldn't do that? And what, now I can't teach the course because I've done Vipassana meditation? I mean, that's just bizarre. In fact, it deepened my experience greatly. It strengthened my faith in the course's teaching, because I actually had a mystic experience of pure form. What I now at that point I didn't call it pure formless awareness or perfect love, but once I had the experience, like, well, what else would I call it? It was just pure formless awareness. That's all I could say about it. There's nothing else to describe. which is exactly what all the teachings in the Course in Miracles are pointing to, that that same awareness. So I had a direct experience of that awareness for a few minutes, which has changed my life. I'll remember that forever. I wouldn't have had that if I hadn't done the retreat. So, who's to say? Who can judge? Who can say, well, this is the only way, and you've got to stay within this construct that we've defined? You can't ever say that, which is why mystics and formal religions never really gel, because the mystic is like, well, I'm just going directly to the source, and all of your rules and regulations and things you say you can do and can't do, this is all part of duality. It's all a limitation. Okay, so Elaine, if you want to read this, universal theology.
A universal theology is impossible, but a universal experience is not only possible, but necessary.
So it's pointing us clearly beyond the practice, beyond theology, beyond practice, to experience, and that's necessary, because it's ultimately we have the same experience of truth. If we're one awareness, that awareness would have to be identical. But this kind of so-called spiritual ego defense against the truth has been going on for a very long time in many religious and spiritual disguises in the name of God. Is really just your only true identity as the Christ one self, or great I am presence. Christ the one self. These are just pointers to this ineffable nameless presence. Another point is the I am, and this is recorded in this passage in the book of Exodus about 2,600 years ago as the first name of God in the Bible, revealed to Moses from a burning bush, which is probably a mystic experience that he had. Bushes in the physical world don't burn and not burn up. So this was happening in a meditation experience, no doubt. And he saw this burning bush, and then this presence talks to him, and he says, well, you want me to go and save my people who are in bondage in Egypt? Who should I say sent me? Which is the reasonable question. And it says, I am that I am, the sense. I am that I am sent me to you. And then you have, what people do is then we get language, and you get in Hebrew the passage uses the verb aya, or the word haya, normally translates as I am or I will be. And then theologians get involved and they write articles about it. And according to a theologian, that translation is in most situations adequate, but for the meaning of God's name in Exodus 3, several other places in the Bible, apparently haya carries the added weight of representing God himself. Okay, so there's separate versions of God, which is then adapted into traditional Hebrew name for God, Yahweh. According to the same article, Yahweh is God's personal name, so closely identified with his being that many Orthodox Jews refuse to pronounce it, instead saying Hashem, the name, or Adonai, Lord, to God this name's sanctity. And there we see how the original revelation of Moses in his mystic experience, that God was the very essence of his and one's being, expressed as simply as possible in the words, I am what I am, has been denied. God has become some external entity separate from the fundamentalists who believe in this conception of their own minds, that they must then defend against instead of accept as their own true identity. Needs no defense because it simply is. And so this kind of denial has been going on a long, long time in many, many different spiritual paths and teachings. And we've just seen some of that in an example. So That leads us to our session discussing the names of God, which is what I want to do, as well as the Samadhi form. So if you have any questions about any of this, the multiple names of God are really just pointers to the same thing. So from the multiplicity of form and all the names and all the different seeming religions and paths, you have the multiplicity, but it points to the singularity, which is where we end up, which is Samadhi. When you're in a state of Samadhi, you are completely identified with this great I am presence. You are it is you, it is your awareness, and you simply rest in that awareness. It's very uncomplicated. It's that simple. Of course, the ego mind likes to make it complicated and deny it. And so the ego mind invents all kinds of distractions. Okay, so any questions? Did anyone watch Samadhi? We want to chat about that a bit. Any questions on that, or on the idea of spiritual ego, on the idea that the multiple names of God? You did watch it.
Yes, I've watched it. It's very good. It's worth a good watch.
Any comments or questions?
Well, the message was very simple, really, wasn't it? Yeah. Not to get stuck in too much practices. I remember saying that, and it's quite an ordinary state. It's a middle sort of way, isn't it? It's a bit more than ordinary, however you would define that.
It's our true nature. This is our natural state. It's our state of mind when there are no illusions. We're cluttering it up. We're just in pure formless awareness of perfect love.
Yeah, it was beautifully done, though. The music and yes, it's certainly a good watch.
Yeah, I didn't watch any this weekend, but I think I've watched maybe part of the first or the second one previously. Not the third.
No, it's only one movie in 3 parts. So you watch it in sequence.
Okay. Yeah.
And the central theme is letting go of your attachments to this world so that you can experience Samadhi. You can go into the state of mind that is beyond this world, and it's beyond techniques of any kind. Yeah, so any other thoughts on Samadhi, any concepts in there, anything you want to ask? The only comment on it is mostly there, but occasionally he says something that's dualistic. It's like, well, you've got to reconcile the opposites.
It's saying that we need to be there for every moment, however it turns up, whether it's painful, instead of running away, because that's our way to be finding samadhi, is by just whatever is revealing itself in that moment. Do not push it away, just go through with it. And that's, most of us don't. We resist it. Yeah.
The movements of the mind are craving. We desire it. We want something that we don't have.
Yeah.
So that's the craving or the desire that Buddha identified in the second noble truth. But as part of craving, he talks about aversion. So aversion is saying, I desire it to be another way than what it is. So something's happening and I go, no, that's not good. I don't want it that way. I'd like another state. And so Samadhi is just the end of that, the end of all duality. There's no more craving, there's no more aversion, there's nothing you want or need. You just sit in your state of blissful being. and there's nothing else. So it's the ultimate state in Buddhist teaching. It's the eighth pathway, and in yogic teaching, samadhi is the eighth limb that you get to, which means that it's the top of the tree. It's the final stage of enlightenment. Okay, so that prepares us nicely for our lesson.
Oh no, sorry,
There's another review lesson, so it's pretty short and sweet. You've got to go. Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. Thanks for joining, Kim. Maybe
you.
see you in the week.
Yeah. Thank you. And good night. Good night, Elaine.
Oh, good night, Kim. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Have a good resource session.
Thank you.
Good
Okay.
evening. Okay.
Bye.
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 Bye. Okay, so let's go into. Let's go turn on the lights. Get some light on the subject. Let's start.
Yeah.
Start recording. Okay, so this one is where we lesson 203 is what we are. So if you can read it in the sequence. I've actually written it out here, so you might want to do that. I'm not a body.
I am not
free.
a body. Oh, I am not a body. I am free, for I am still as God created me. And the alternative, I am not a body. I am free, for I am still as perfect love extends me.
Yes, any thoughts on that? We've done it 3 days in a row. I guess saying to you.
We're just realizing that we're not this body. And once we have that realization, that's where freedom starts to enter in. For I'm still as God created me. Yeah. Oh, perfect love. Yeah.
I'm not a body, I'm free. Still as perfect love extends me. So the translation is saying God is perfect love, and then it didn't create me and then stop. It's extending me right now. I'm still as it extends me in the present moment. See, so it brings it into the present. Because there really is no past. In eternity, still as God created me, I remain created. I'm extended from a source always. I'm not a body, I'm free, for I'm still as perfect love extends me. And if I can tap into that, then I feel happy, calm, peaceful. And I also feel like I can extend, I can extend love to others.
Yeah.
Okay, so upon God's name and on my own. So I call upon and read that.
Yeah, I call upon God's name and on my own. I call upon perfect love's identity and on my own.
So thoughts on that? What's he saying? God's name is perfect love identity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it just means that we're one, we're the same as God. We are, yeah, we are one.
So the name is really our own identity. The name of God is I am in the Bible. That's hugely significant. And that was the first, I think it was the first recorded name of God in the Bible. really stating, the truth of, that this is not outside of you. It's your very self. That's who you are. And when I call on it, I call on my own. Because it's the same identity. We are one. Okay. And then I'm going to read just a very short. Do you see this? This is a very short, brief form of the lesson. So he's getting us used to this, because in the next part, the workbook, which will start from lesson 221, it's this kind of form, a very short, brief commentary on it, and then just a pointer to help you to actually experience this this peace and this truth about yourself that he's pointing to. Okay, so
which am I reading?
God is my deliverance.
Both of them, yeah. The name of God is my deliverance from every thought of evil and of sin, because it is my own as well as his. The identity of perfect love is my deliverance from every thought of evil and sin, because it is my own as well as its.
Yeah, so it's my own identity, it's my deliverance. Awakening, maybe. Deliverance is okay. What do you think? Deliverance from every thought. My deliverance.
Well, awakenings.
Freedom, maybe.
Yeah, freedom's nice. Yeah, freedom.
This is my freedom from every thought of evil and sin, because it is my own as well as it's. So any adverse thought, any thoughts involving sin, remember, is just error. It's an error that's made real in your mind, and it's now permanent and it's punishable, which makes evil seemingly real. Saying this, the identity of perfect love offers you freedom from that, because you're not that. You are, pure formless awareness of perfect love. And evil and sin, they have no place.
I don't have too much problem with that thought, but maybe other negative thoughts, are they the same? Well, safety, maybe not feeling safe, so negative thoughts around
that.
But
remember, it's all connected.
Yeah, of course.
It's all connected.
So, yeah.
We look at the get the exercise pack up. We look at the sent into hell. See how it's all interrelated. The thought of sin means that you feel guilty, you feel like you then deserve to be punished. So the source of your fear is up here. It's a decision to separate. And then the guilt and the sin that you feel for that apparently terrible thing you've done, because now you think you've destroyed God, love, perfect oneness, everything that's true and valuable. You think you've destroyed that, and you've made a separate self. Is that clear? You see where fear comes. All negatives are part of the same system, and they all have guilt and sin that underpin them. Does that make sense?
It does.
So it's just if ever you're not sure, consult the diagram, because it shows you the whole thought system exposed of the ego. And then you say, okay, well, if I'm fearing, it's just it's another level down the ladder, isn't it? But underpinning it is guilt and sin. And the idea of evil. Well, this is what fear makes real. And then should be the final, I'm not a body, I'm free. Just to affirm that.
I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as perfect love extends me.
Reading it again, any thoughts, different thoughts on that? What else arises when you think that?
Well, just as soon as you know that you're not a body and you're free, then that's then when you can extend it to others who think they're a body.
Yeah. I'm still as perfect love extends me. So when I have that connection, then I extend that same perfect love. If I'm rooted in that perfect love, it extends through me to others. I need to know who I am first. And so Moses, classic example, he didn't really know who he was. This presence speaks to him, tells him who he was, says, I am what I am. He has this deep mystic experience as being, and this presence says, well, go and take this love that I've extended to you and extend it to your people and help them. So that's how it always goes. You connect, the mystic connect themselves with the divine, and then that inspires them to extend as it's been extended to them. The love that they feel then wants to extend through them to others. Yeah, so any
No, it's very clear.
comments or questions on the lesson?
No, it's very clear.
Good. Because it's so short, I haven't done a summary or anything, because it's just it's already a summary.
We'll do text.
All upon perfect identity. And on my own, if you use that, I did a few times today, it's like it's a reminder, isn't it? It just brings up it's another pointer to this inner awareness that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do a meditation on the lesson, and then there's a short bit of text. It's only 3 paragraphs, so we'll have time to do that after the med, if you're happy to stay till 9ish.
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. That's good.
Okay, so
Yeah. Ready for the
let's
med.
meditate on the lesson. Okay, so just making yourself comfortable. Sitting with your feet shoulder width apart, your back straight. Put your hands in your lap, put your hands, palms facing upwards on your thighs. So take a nice deep breath in. Breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises, and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. When it's a sphincter muscle, you lock the energy in, pull the energy up your spine into your heart center, pull it up into the crown of your head, pausing at the top of the inhale. And so you just scan your mind. Bavarian. So you just look at all this, whatever it is that's going on in your mind, breathe into it, take another breath in, opening yourself up to this spacious awareness, we call pure formless awareness of perfect love. Look at any thoughts that are of evil and sin, every thought of evil and sin. And then you're just going to let go of anything that's untoward. So any negative thoughts and emotions, you feel them as tightness, a contraction. You're just going to blow out all of these thoughts of evil and sin. Remember, evil means to live backwards. So these are just false thoughts. They're upside down. They contradict the truth and they mean nothing. So you can safely let them go. And when you do, then you deny false reality and you accept the truth. So just blow out all of that negative energy, thoughts, emotions, body sensations. Remind yourself that I'm not a body, I'm free. I'm still as perfect love extends me right now. And so feel that extension of perfect love. And I call upon God's name, or if you prefer alternative language, I call upon perfect love. I call upon perfect love's identity and on my own to dispel these illusions. Call upon perfect love's identity on my own. Breathe it into every pore, every cell, every muscle, every body, every part of your mind. And just gently say the name of God or the identity of perfect love. And just exhale and let it all go. All of that negative thought and energy. Releasing the breath as it's like a dark cloud of black smoke leaving you. Going, gone. Lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. And you just rest in this peace and stillness. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. So just surrender in. Try and just not try, just be. Let go. You've used the breath, you've used the lesson. I call upon perfect love's identity and on my own. You breathe in this loving awareness. Sinking deeper and deeper with each breath. Use the breath as an anchor to take you deeper and deeper with each breath into this little calm, quiet place. And just let go and let God is another way of saying this. You just quiet and still, peaceful and calm, and just if any thoughts come up, seemingly distract you, thoughts about the past and the future, or anything really, that seems to prevent your awareness of perfect love. Notice it and smile. Understand what the ego is up to. If you notice this time, you can just sinking inwards, going a bit deeper and deeper with each passing breath, moment of silence. So just gently coming back from this deep state into awareness of the body and the breath, senses and the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises, the chest rises, the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pause at the top of the inhale. Just scan your mind again. So noticing thoughts, emotions, related body sensations from the state of true awareness, pure formless awareness. And just observe and notice what's going on. If there's anything that feels at all negative, it negates the truth of love. Just remind yourself that I'm not a body, I'm free, or I'm still as perfect love extends me. Means I remain as perfect love extends me, but I am also still. I'm quiet, I'm peaceful. And I call upon, in this instance, perfect love's identity, or God's name, perfect love's identity, and on my own, to help me to release this negative thought and emotion. And I just exhale and blow it out. The breeze of my breath, the nothingness that really is. So it's going, gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. And I rest in this deep peace and stillness. A few moments. Notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. Noticing what you're feeling, touching your hands. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, smell in your nose. Notice all this from this very still, calm, and surrendered state. State of mind without illusions. It's just pure formless awareness of perfect love arising. Breathe in again as you inhale. Notice what you smelling, tasting, perhaps touching, feeling the subtle flow there in the skin. And notice what you hear in the surrounding environment. Noticing all these things from this very still, calm, and surrendered state. Anchor that state in. This is your true state. This is what it means to be extended by perfect love. Pure formless awareness, the perfect love is your awareness right now. So stay anchored, stay rooted in that awareness. You can help yourself to stay there by practicing today's lesson frequently. It recommends ideally every hour. You use the breaks that I sent you to stay connected to it. And for the rest of the session, as we go into the text, just keep this nice, calm, clear, peaceful awareness that comes from our source, from perfect love with you, always. So it is. So on the count of 3, open your eyes. Just take a a minute to look around as you observe what's going on around you. So various objects in the room. Focus on anything randomly for a few moments. Notice the same awareness is there, this peaceful awareness underlying the object. You can close your eyes, notice that awareness, open your eyes, and look to something else. Notice it's the same awareness. Wherever you're looking, identical awareness. Pure formless awareness of perfect love. And connect with that awareness, stay in that awareness for the rest of the session, set that intention. And so it is. And so that brings us to the end of the meditation and this lesson. So let's have a look now at today's text reading. So today's text reading is where are the Justice of God, it's called. So we're on to a new chapter 25, the Justice of God, Justice of Perfect Love in our translated language. And this is just the introduction to the chapter, so it's 3 paragraphs long. Okay, so do you want to go into that, Elaine? Let's do a bit of text.
Yeah.
Not too long, so maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. We should be able to get it done. And it's normally when you want to start logging off. So I think read it because it's short. Just read in the original and then the alternative, line by line.
The Christ in you inhabits not a body. The true self in you inhabits not a body.
Hang on, let me just fix that.
Oh, I. In my. Yeah.
Yeah, true self in me.
In me, yeah.
And I did ask it to change that, but ChatGPT hasn't done it for some reason. Anyway, it doesn't matter. True self in me does not inhabit a body.
Yet he is in you, yet it is in me. And thus it must, oh, yeah, I'm going to continue. And thus it must be that you are not within a body. And so it must be that I am not within a body. And what is within you cannot be outside. What is within me cannot be outside. And it is certain that you cannot be apart from what is at the very center of your life. And it is certain that I cannot be apart from what is at the very center of my life. What
He's
gives
just stating
you
the obvious there, isn't he? He's saying, well, how can you be outside of yourself? And it's actually a ridiculous idea, isn't it? You think of the body, it's like, how can that be you? How can it be outside of you? External to you? It doesn't make any logical sense, which is why we struggle to make any sense of the world of the body and the ego, because it doesn't make any sense.
No.
Okay.
What gives you life cannot be housed in death. What gives me life cannot be housed in death. No more can you, and no more can I. Christ is within a frame of holiness, whose only purpose is that he may be made manifest to those who know him not, that he may call to them to come to him and see him where they thought their bodies were. My true self is within a frame of innocence, whose only purpose is that it may be made manifest to those who it is not. It
Do
not
not know it.
know it.
So those who do not know it.
Yeah, so that it may call to them to come to it and see it where they thought their bodies were. Then will their bodies melt away, and they may frame his holiness in them. Then will their bodies melt away, that they may frame its innocence in them.
And their bodies will melt away. So the frame, his holiness. So holiness is translated as its innocence, the true self's innocence. They may frame its innocence in them, in the bodies. They frame his holiness in them. I think he's referring to the bodies. Frame the holiness in. Maybe we should just make that a bit more explicit, in their bodies. Okay, so just read it from the top again in the alternative this time. Make sure we got the translation correct.
Yeah, I'll just move that little box out the way. Yeah. The true self in me does not inhabit a body, yet it is in me, and so it must be that I am not within a body. What is within me cannot be outside, and it is certain that I cannot be apart from what is at the very center of my life. What gives me life cannot be housed in death, no more can I. My true self is within a frame of innocence, whose only purpose is that it may be made manifest to those who do not know it so, that it may call to them to come to it and perceive it where they thought their bodies were. Then their bodies will melt away, so that they may frame its innocence in their bodies.
And bodies will melt away. So they're that might be better said as they let go of the importance they gave their bodies, so that they frame its innocence in their bodies, so they can express its innocence, the true self's innocence. In the last one, and then let go of the importance. Elaine, you still there?
Oh, yes, I'm here. Oh, read that one again.
Let's read the
Then-
last one, and they let
Yeah, then they let go of the
go.
importance they gave their bodies so that they can express their true self's innocence through their bodies.
I think that's what he means by then will their bodies melt away, that they may frame his holiness in them.
Mhm.
Frame your holiness. Well, what does that mean? The body will express this innocence.
Yeah.
So we've just explicitly stated that. Okay, so what's he saying in this paragraph?
Well, once we let the concept of the body go, the true self in me does not inhabit a body, but it is in us. And so it must be that I am not within a body, because we've got it the wrong way around. What is within me cannot be outside. So
We literally went out of our minds,
mm,
very literally, without thoughts of separation. It sent us out of our minds, and then we projected our minds into a body, and made this very, very strange. Oh, there's John. Nice.
well,
Very weird belief in the body, and somehow that's no identity. It's somehow outside of us, and we're just saying, well, how's that possible? Because what is you is within. Hi, John. Welcome.
Hi, John. Hi, Elaine.
Hi, John.
Yeah. And we just started the text. It's a short section today. It's just the introduction. So there's 3 paragraphs to go, but we just started. So
interesting time.
Yeah.
The justice
of God. Justice of perfect love in our translated version. So maybe John, we just read it. You read it again in the alternative, and then
yeah.
Just kind of summarizing the key message of it.
The true self in me does not inhabit a body, yet it is in me. And so it must be that I am not within a body. What is within me cannot be outside. And it is certain that I cannot be apart from what is at the very center of my life. What gives me life cannot be housed in death. No more can I. My true self is within a frame of innocence, whose only purpose is that it be made manifest to those who do not know it, so that it may call to them to come to it and perceive it where they thought their bodies were. Then they let go of the importance they gave their bodies, so that they can express their true self's innocence through their bodies. Yeah.
So
Very nice.
what's he saying there?
So he's saying here we are much more, we may think we are our bodies, but our true selves are much more than our bodies. Yes, they are within our bodies, but they extend much further. And
He's saying no, they're not within our body. He's saying I'm not within a body. I must be certain that I'm not within a body.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, not within a body.
So it's literally we've gone out of our minds. I was saying to Elaine when you popped in. The tiny mad idea sent us out of our minds and into a body. And now apparently our reality is a body and not a mind. And so we've gone, literally out of our minds.
Oh,
And now
well,
we
that's
think we inhabit the body.
that's interesting. That's interesting. I've never conceived of it like that. Yeah.
Yeah. We
I
got
mean,
out of our minds.
I've always thought that we were not just our bodies, but much more. Whilst we are not our bodies, there was a bit of us that was in it, so as we could kind of relate to the illusion. But
Well, it's just, the Holy Spirit interprets the body differently. This is the function that the Holy Spirit has. It says, okay, well, you've made up this crazy, you've gone out of your mind, you've made up this crazy projection called the body to seemingly be your identity. And that's not just going to, disappear overnight. It's a kind of fixed projection. While you apparently here, the body seems to have some reality, but the Holy Spirit reminds you that it doesn't really. Right? True reality lies within and not without. The body is not your reality, it's not your identity. I'm not a body, I'm free, as today's lesson says. I'm still as perfect love extends me. So it just reinterprets the body, and then it says, well, the body is now a vehicle for the mind and the innocence of the mind to be made manifest and express itself. So in the original it says, then will their bodies melt away, that they may frame his holiness. And then we translated that as, then they let go of the importance they gave their bodies so that they can express their true self's innocence through their bodies. It's much more like practical and, okay, so what are you actually doing? Yeah, so, the body's a delusion. It's not true, but the true self will reinterpret it and say, well, we'll demonstrate, the innocence and the purity that lie beyond the body while you're in a body. And so you use the body as a communication vehicle to communicate this, this innocence. And then the body has a true function while you're here.
So when we say like to go within, in the process of meditation, when we go within, to me that always implied going within and connecting with source, the source being within ourselves.
Yeah.
And therefore within the body.
No, but we are not a body.
Yeah.
So it's not in the body. The idea that we exist in a body is a delusion.
Yeah.
How can we? We are pure formless awareness of perfect love. We are incorporeal in our true nature. We are immortal. We are infinite and eternal. How can we be housed in a body, which is very finite, very limited, and limiting?
But when we
how
say
is that really possible? We're infinite and eternal.
So when we say to go within,
Hmm.
in meditation or in reflection, where are we actually? What does that mean to go within?
Well, you're not going within the body. You're going into your mind. You're going into a deeper awareness.
Okay.
Of your own mind. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And some of these techniques, like say Vipassana, using the breath and then body scanning, they use the body as an entry point. So you start off with an awareness of the body. So you observe the breath, it's a body function. You observe sensations in the body, but it takes you into a deeper awareness. So the body becomes the access point to this deeper awareness, the portal, if you like.
Okay.
To a deeper awareness that's beyond the body, even though you're aware of. See there, what's the awareness that's aware of the breath, and what's the awareness that's aware of the body sensations? This is the awareness that's being pointed to, that's being revealed through the practice. That's within you, and yes, you're saying that this awareness has nothing whatsoever to do with the body. So this is the key part of the non-dual teaching, saying you're not a body. You can't be a body and a mind because they contradict each other. Many teachings, like most spiritual teachings, have a system where they try and fudge it. And they say your body and your mind and your spirit, and it's all part of some kind of system. There's levels, and it's all real. And Yeshua is saying, no, you can't say that. You can't say the body is real and also say the mind is real, because they contradict each other. The body contradicts the infinite eternal nature of mind with a capital M, because it's so small and limited and subject to suffering and aging and sickness and death. Well, how can that be what is eternal and infinite? He's saying it can't be. We went out of our minds the moment we had that tiny mad idea of separation. We split our mind, and that split has led to the miscreation of the world and the body that seems to live in the world. So we went out of our mind, and we're still out of our minds as long as we believe we're bodies. And that's why the world is insane. That's why everyone's out of their mind. And they have no idea that they're out of their mind. They think that being out of their mind in a body is sane. This is normal. This is sane in this world. But actually, it's insane when viewed correctly, because we are eternal mind. We are incorporeal in our true nature. We are not bodies. So the idea that we are a body and that there's multiple different bodies of various types running around trying to do all kinds of things, as bodies do, is just part of the ego's insanity. None of it makes any sense. So is that clear? Bodies and minds. And
Yeah. I mean, it's quite a revelation, because I've kind of had this image of our true self is kind of like a cloud surrounding us, and the body isn't real, but it's and I understand the body isn't real. I understand the body as a means of communication, but for some funny reason I had this idea that my real self was kind of connected to my central aware. I think I had the idea that my central awareness was within my body.
That's a primary illusion.
But not my body, but somewhere within, because this expression to go within, reflect and go within, I always understood to be go within the body, which I know isn't the physical body, but is somehow connected to a central axis that I suppose I was making the connection to a body, but although I know we're not just a body. In fact, I know we're not bodies.
But see, there's this lingering belief there. It's still in the body. Yeah. It kind of lurks there in your mind, and somehow you're still attached to it. And of course, the ego is very identified with that. It wants you to believe that you're a body.
Yeah. I am.
Separate.
But I'm not believing that I am a body. I suppose I'm now wondering where my true self is.
And that is the ultimate question, isn't it? That's what every philosopher and mystic and saint and this has wondered. It's certainly not in the body.
No. Okay.
But your mind exists in God. It exists in this state of awareness. That's where your true self is. It exists in and as this awareness. I am that I am. It says, I am this awareness. I am pure formless awareness of perfect love, and I'm nothing else. Now that awareness seems to express itself in and through a body, because the Holy Spirit can allow your mind to do that without believing in the reality of the body. Well, this is just a vehicle and dream. The body isn't my reality. That's really the key thing. Don't identify with the body in any way, shape, or form as your reality. It's equivalent to you getting into your car and going, this is who I am. My car is me. Well, that's evidently crazy, although many people actually do have that delusion around their cars. Elaine, your husband, you've seen that attachment. He's self-invested in the car, so he's believing that he's his car. But it's clearly insane. That's not the truth. You're the driver of the car, you're not the car. So we need to make a clear distinction between the driver and the vehicle. In the same way with the body, the driver is our true self. The body is just the vehicle. The vehicle is ultimately just temporary. It will eventually decay and fade away and go to scrap or whatever. But your true self, the driver, is permanent and eternal. That is unchangeable. And they are different. You can't mix them and go, oh, well, I'm kind of part of the body, I'm part of the vehicle. No, you're not at all. You're just driving it for a while.
In a way, it's not the best analogy, though, John, because the vehicle, when it's doing anything, has the driver in it. So the driver is within the vehicle.
Temporarily, but then the driver stops the vehicle and gets out, and then he's not in the vehicle anymore.
Yeah. But
it's clearly not permanent or eternal.
But what we're saying here is that the spirit is not within the body.
That's not its home. Temporarily, our minds seem to be operating within a body. And so the Holy Spirit can interpret the body correctly. So well, remember, you're not a body. You're actually free. I'm not a body. I'm free. You're still as perfect love extends you. So this spirit, this loving awareness is still there. It's still in your mind. So the body is just this temporary vehicle that you made up for unholy purposes. The ego made it up to convince you that you're separate. But now you can reinterpret it, and you can actually express this awareness in and through the body, which is why he says, your innocence expresses it. Their bodies will melt away. Then will their bodies melt away, that they may frame his holiness in them. And his holiness is the Christ's holiness. And so we've translated that as then they let go of the importance they gave their bodies, so they can express their true self's innocence through their bodies. While you're here, well, what other choice do you have? The body's going to remain as long as you're apparently here, living a human life. So it's not just going to disappear. So why not let your true self, or the Christ, express in and through the body, and use the body as a vehicle for expressing this innocence that doesn't really live in the body. It's coming from outside of the body, beyond the body, but it can be expressed in and through the body, through your words, through your actions, just through the way the body looks, your countenance, your energy, all of that is how it expresses through the body. For instance, someone I met a guy, I haven't seen him for 15 years, had a chat to him on Zoom. So he saw me, he said, you haven't changed a bit. There's been no age, no aging really, no noticeable aging. Well, that's how then, that's an example of how the immortal self, which doesn't know about aging and death, can express in and through the body in a sort of ageless, timeless kind of quality. So I'm not a body, but that's a sign. The body's ongoing sort of youth is a sign that the mind is healing itself and correcting and becoming more and more identified with what is eternal, that doesn't age, the ageless self. And then it expresses in the physical, and you go, okay, well, actually, physically, you haven't really aged, you're exactly the same. So that's how it then expresses in and through the body. One way, how it looks, but your speech as well, your behavior, that's all how the true self will express in and through the body.
So if we are truly connected with our real selves, the body doesn't age as quickly.
Generally not. Yeah, I mean, it's a general rule, but that's why some of these mystics and yogis, they've extraordinary longevity. There's a book called Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. I don't know if you ever heard of it. A guy called Baird T. Spalding.
Yeah.
And in it, he recounts his experiences in Tibet. So he went apparently to Tibet in the late sort of 1800s, early 1900s, when it was still very closed off. They didn't allow Westerners in, and saw these people who he claimed were hundreds of years old, and they still looked like normal. They weren't aged. Their bodies were still young and fit, and they were like several hundred years old. So again, medical science will poo-poo that, but that was his experience, and he wrote it down. Was he lying? I think I think the limits that we've put on it, the idea that the body will age and die in 70, 80, 90 years is certainly very questionable. I think, why couldn't it live a lot longer, given the right treatment? If you pollute it with all kinds of negativity, negative thoughts, and then those negative thoughts get expressed in actions and in lifestyle choices, and then the substances you ingest, food, alcohol, drugs, and so on, then the body's going to age as a symptom of the mind that is decayed, the mind that is out of alignment with its source. But if you're in alignment with your source and you live that way, you don't believe in death anymore, then why would stands to reason that the aging process would slow down or perhaps even stop entirely. So there is a guy called Mahavatar Babaji. You might have heard of him as well, and he's a great avatar. They call him the deathless master of the Himalayas. So he knocks around the Himalayas in various forms. He doesn't just have one body. He can be an old man. He could be a little child. He manifests in whatever body he wants, because he's at that kind of avatar level. But he's deathless because the body just doesn't die. He's immortal and eternal. He's so identified with his true self, and then just chooses a body vehicle accordingly. If he needs to be a little boy, then he'll be a little boy to give a message to whoever he's speaking to, or he can be an old man or whatever. These are all recorded. Again, there's no absolute evidence of his existence. It's just written accounts of encounters with him. But I think the idea that we're a body and we're limited to just this body, and to die in a body in 70, 80 years is a very limited one. Clearly that's been shown not to be the case. That potentially the body can live a lot longer, but if it's not subject to the ego. The ego, remember, is a death wish. So the ego is trying to kill the body because it doesn't believe it's worthy enough to be its home. So as part of its self-punishment, it's trying to kill and destroy that which is its home, because it's identified with the body, which of course makes no sense. But then nothing the ego does makes any sense. So that's the whole point. It doesn't make any sense. It's insane. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's good. Thanks, John.
So I think just a correction. Your true self doesn't live in the body. It's completely independent of the body. But while you seem to have a body because of this tiny mad idea of separation, which now you've got the after effects of that as your body, then the best thing you can do is allow the Holy Spirit to reinterpret the body, and then the true self, the Christ, becomes manifest in and through the body, in how your body looks, in your words, in your actions, and then you can be an inspired and inspiring person in this world that can help other people to access the same spirit. That's what in spirit means. Inspire. You infuse the spirit, your body, with the spirit, and then you allow the body to express that to others through your words and your action. He talks about the waitress in Doncaster. That's just an example. She's using her body. She's serving you. She's picking up plates. She's delivering food, but and she's speaking. But she's using it all for a higher purpose, to bring in a thought system of love and connection, rather than of separation and fear and attack. So while we're here, pragmatically, the Course is very pragmatic in many ways. They're saying you're not a body, but okay, you've done this thing and you've gone so far down this track that the body's not just going to disappear. It's a sort of fixed projection while you're here. So you may as well reinterpret it and use it correctly. And that reinterpretation is what is how the mind will start to learn more and more that it really is not a body, that it's free, it's pure form of source of perfect love. That makes sense?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so happy to move on to number 2 then. Elaine read that one, so if you want to read number 2, Elaine can read number 3.
Yep. No one who carries Christ in him.
Yeah, do it in the original.
No one who carries Christ in him can fail to recognize him everywhere. No one who carries my true self in them can fail to recognize it everywhere. Except in bodies. And as long as he believes he is a body where he thinks he is, he cannot be. And as long as they believe they are in a body where they think they are, it cannot be. Oh, hang on though.
Where he thinks he is.
Where
he believes he is in a body where he thinks he is, he cannot be.
We've got a capital H there.
He cannot be where he thinks he is.
Yeah.
So it just needs to be reversed. As long as they believe they are in a body. As long as they believe they are in a body. They cannot be where they think. So what a strange position. You think you're in a body, you think this is your reality, but actually it's impossible. You can't really be there. It's a product of an impossible idea. And this explains a lot. It explains why the body, identity doesn't work. It explains why on physical level we have so many difficulties and challenges, because it's not designed to work. It's impossible.
Why have we got that capital H in sentence 3 in the original, Joe?
This one, where he thinks he is.
Yeah, he cannot be.
Cannot be. Yeah, well, it's referring to the Christ, isn't it?
Oh,
Once they believe they're in the body, they cannot be, so their true self cannot be where they think they are, right? It just can't be there. You think it's there, but as long as you think you're in a body, you're mistaken. Your true self cannot be there because it's not bound to a body. And so you're just very confused about yourself. It's lost in this crazy, you've gone out of your mind. You think you're a body now, which is a total delusion. You're not a body, but you think you are. And you think that all these thoughts related to the body and its perceptions are real. And Yeshua comes in and says, no, none of this is true. You're just completely delusional. You're hallucinating. And you need to let all of this go to find, your true self beyond suffering. Okay, we carry on.
Yeah.
Not be where they think they are.
And so he carries him unknowingly, and does not make him manifest. And so they carry it, and so they carry
It.
Oh yeah, and so they carry it unknowingly, and do not
They have it. They have it.
Yeah,
They have it unknowingly.
and so they have it unknowingly, and do not make it manifest.
Yeah, so it's hidden, it's buried,
And it's not.
and they don't make it manifest. And then you look at people who are asleep, and you go, well, you can see that it's buried. It's still there, but it's a spark that's been covered over by the dense covering of the ego. And then it appears that they're cut off from that, and they do all kinds of stuff to try and find some kind of happiness and peace. And of course, none of it's going to work, because as long as you bury your true self under the grime of the ego, you can't access it. Yeah.
Yeah. And thus he does not recognize him where he is. And thus he does not recognize it where it is.
Son of Man.
The Son of Man is not the risen Christ. The Son of Man is not.
Well, maybe that needs a bit of so the Son of Man is really talking about the body.
Yeah.
The Son of Man. So the
We as bodies, children.
the children of men and women, I guess, but children of men are not the risen Christ, are not my risen is awakened. Yeah, so maybe not the risen Christ, or not my awakened self. Maybe the bodies might be good. The Son of Man. That's what he really means. Right. So so how about the bodies? Produced by other bodies. Are not my awakened self. Son of Man is not the risen Christ.
Yeah.
Maybe the body. My body produced by other bodies is not my awakened self. How can it be? It's a product of an illusion. An illusion makes illusion an illusion. And so the ego has given itself the ability to produce bodies through the intercourse of two other bodies, and in various other ways. And there's many reproductive systems. But if you just look at humans, but how can any of that be related to your true self, which is beyond the body? You know, bodies can only produce more bodies of the same order, in the same order of reality, the same level of reality. This is what he's saying. Son of Man is not the risen Christ. So if you're identified with your body, then you're not awake. Your self is still sleeping. You're not awakened, and then you suffer the consequences of that, you know, ignorance, because you think you're a body, and therefore you think that the pleasures and the pains of the body are real, and so is the suffering and the sickness and the aging and the death, and you try and find some way of finding happiness within this disaster. Okay, so what's
Yeah.
the we finished it. Body, no, it
No,
does the extension. Yeah. Right,
Yet does the Son of God abide exactly where he is, and walks with him within his holiness, as plain to see as is his specialness set forth within his body. Yet the extension of perfect love does live exactly where he is, and walks with him within his innocence, as plain to see as is his specialness set forth within his body.
Let's say the extensions, and we can avoid the male-female thing. Yet the extensions of perfect love do live exactly where, not exactly where he is, do live exactly where they are, and walk live exactly where they are and walk with him. Does the Son of God abide exactly where he is and walks with him within his holiness? So this is the true self walking with this person who apparently walks in the world in a body where they are. And walk with yet the extensions of perfect love do love exactly where they are, and perfect love is with them. In their plain to see as is the specialness set forth within with them in their innocence, many with them in their innocence, plain to see as their specialness set forth, their specialness can be seen. Specialness can be seen within their body, Just read that from the top again. Let's make sure.
No one who carries their true self in them can fail to recognize it everywhere, except in bodies. And as long as they believe they are in a body, their true self cannot be where they think they are. And so they have it unknowingly and do not make it manifest. And so he does not recognize it where it is. My body produced by other bodies is not my awakened self. Yet the extensions of perfect love do live exactly where they are, and perfect love is with them in their innocence, as plain to see as their specialness can be seen within their bodies.
Oh, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
A body produced by other bodies is not. Awakened self. Extensions of perfect love do live exactly where they are. Where they are, and perfect love is with them in their innocence. It's plain to see as their specialness can be seen or perceived, maybe perceived. Specialness can be clearly perceived in their bodies. You know, your body is special. It's your own body. It's unique. There's not another one exactly like it. And you have your own everything, your own fingerprints, your own countenance, everything's, you know, there's this uniqueness in the body, that's specialness, because it was made by the special self to be special, to demonstrate the thought system of specialness. Okay, so what's he saying here, number 2?
Saying that our true selves is to be found everywhere we look. And as long as we don't go back to believing we are a body, this will continue. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, carry on.
And because our true self is going from beyond ourselves, it is constantly being observed by those around us, and we are demonstrating it.
Yeah, so but we'll never see it in the body. You know, if you're looking in the body for your true self, you're mistaken. Plain to see as their specialness can be clearly perceived within their bodies. So don't identify yourself as a body. Don't get attached to, you know, the body's appearance, to its health, to its seeming, you know, reality in any way, while at the same time being able to function quite well in it. It just serves the mind that's, you know, awakening very well when you stay in the truth. Okay. Any other thoughts on number 2?
Yeah, it's good.
I think the key point, body produced by other bodies is not the awakened self. Cannot, you know, you never find it in a body. You've got to look beyond the body. Do you live exactly where they really are? Perfect love is with them in their innocence. Plain to see as their specialness can clearly be perceived within their bodies. So again, emphasizing a split. We've got the mind on the one hand, body. Then actually these realities ultimately can't be reconciled. So look at integral model. You can't really ultimately reconcile this state, the subjective interior state, or the collective interior state, which is mind and only mind, with the objective world, which is the body, and all of the things that the body does and products of body activities. These are seemingly different, separate realities, and in the end, to accept the truth, you must deny the illusion entirely. All of this has to be undone. So really, in truth, the integral model, it's a model of the illusion designed to help us navigate our way through, but the right-hand side of the quadrants ultimately don't exist. Neither is there really an individual or collective. There's just one awareness. So it all comes down at the highest level to this one awareness. And the mystics just go very deeply into that awareness, and they discover their whole awareness that is actually transcendent, that it encompasses everything. Okay. So,
Yeah.
Happy with number 2. Elaine, you happy with that? Any comments or questions?
No, it's very clear.
Good. Okay, so you want to read number 3 for us?
What in the alternative?
I think read it in both. Just original line by line, then alternative.
The body needs no healing. And the same in alternative. The body needs no healing. But the mind that thinks it is a body is sick indeed. Only the mind that thinks it is a body is sick indeed. And it is here that Christ sets forth the remedy. And it is here that the true self sets forth the remedy. His purpose folds the body in his light and fills it with the holiness that shines from him. Its purpose folds the body in its pure formless awareness and fills it with the innocence.
Say enfolds. Say enfolds the body.
Oh,
And
it's
light, which is pure formless awareness.
Yeah. Its purpose enfolds the body in its pure formless awareness and fills it with the innocence that shines from it. And nothing the body says or does but makes him manifest. And nothing that the body says.
Change it to everything. What's the double negative again? Everything.
And everything that the body
Everything
says.
that the body says or does only makes it manifest. Maybe just makes it manifest. So the innocence, which is within us, it's eternal in the domain of mind, is then being expressed in and through the body.
To those who know him not, it carries him in gentleness and love to heal their minds. To those to those who know it,
Those who
to
do
those
not
who
know.
know it,
Those who do not know it.
To those who do not know it, it carries it in gentleness and love to heal their minds.
Let's just see what's it. It's to those who know him not, it carries him in gentleness and love to heal their minds. So to those who do not know it, him being the true self, it carries him, says or does, but makes him manifest. It is the body, I think. Carries him in gentleness, right? So the body for those who know him not, it carries him in gentleness and love to heal their minds. Okay, so what he's saying is, you know, if people are not awakened, and you can carry this message, extend the message to them through your body. To those who do not know it, the body carries it in gentleness and love to heal their minds. Okay, so let's switch it around. The body carries my true self in gentleness and love. To those who do not know it, to heal, maybe not carries, the body extends my true self in gentleness and love to those who do not know it. To heal their minds. Does that make sense? I think that's a better sentence.
The body extends my true self in gentleness and love to those who do not know it to heal their minds. Yeah, that's a bit better. Well,
Yeah.
it's better.
That's what we're trying to do here. You just inverted to those who know him not. It carries him in gentleness. It's confused about what's him and it, but it's the body extends my true self. So the body is the vehicle again that extends my true self in this world, although it's not ultimately real. Its true function, you know, here while I'm on earth is simply to extend this love of God, the love of Christ, in all ways, whatever ways we can, and that's being truly helpful to the plan of the at-one-ment. Okay, so such is the mission.
And such it must be that your mission is for him, and such it must be that your mission is for him. The same.
I think you skipped number 7.
Oh, I did.
Such is
Yes.
the-
Yeah. So
Yeah.
such is the mission that your brother has for you, and such is the mission that my companion has for me, or offers me.
I think offers me would be better. Has for you. Offers me, because that's what he means, isn't it? Such is the mission. Or this is the mission. Even simpler. This is the mission that my companion offers me.
Yeah.
And such it
And
must
such
be
it that your mission,
is for him.
which is the same as the.
And so it must also be that my mission is so it must also be that my companion's mission is the same as mine. It must also, so it must be that my companion's mission is the same as mine. So he has the same responsibility. as I do.
Why do you think this section is called the justice of God, John?
Well, remember, it's the whole chapter, the justice of God.
Ah, yeah, okay, right.
Well, this is the introduction, so we'll see
Okay.
further as we get deeper into the chapter. Obviously, he's going to talk about the idea of justice. What is the justice of God?
Yeah.
Like love, and that's a very different kind of justice from the ego's justice.
Yeah.
I think in this one we get into the special function as well. It's a good chapter, if I recall. Okay, so what's he saying in number? Just, I think, read it in the alternative from the top, Elaine, please.
The body needs no healing, but the mind that thinks it is a body is sick indeed, and is here that my true self gives the remedy. Its purpose unfolds the body in its pure formless awareness and fills it with the innocence and shines from it. And everything that the body says or does just makes it manifest. The body extends my true self in gentleness and love to those who do not know it, to heal their minds. This is the mission that my companion offers me. And so it must be that my companion's mission is the same as mine.
Okay, so thoughts on that? What's he saying there in summary?
Well, the body itself needs no healing, but the mind that thinks it's a body is sick. So this is when the true self steps in and gives a remedy. And the pure formless awareness fills it up with innocence, and so it shines from it. So the true self, the body extends the true self of gentleness and love to those who don't know it, to heal their minds.
So the body is a vehicle for the expression of love. This true self and its loving awareness now becomes this vehicle to express and extend that. And so this is my mission in this world, is to express and extend love to all my companions, and it's their mission as well. So it must be that my companion's mission is the same as mine. To use the body correctly for the extension of love is its only true purpose. That makes sense?
Yes.
And so it's just, although we've gone out of our minds into a body, the body's not real. The body can be reinterpreted by the Holy Spirit, and it can be equal aid to this the one-man plan, which corrects everyone's idea that they're a body. So the body is now being used to undo the belief in the body. Do you see? And so we have one mission, which is the extension of this perfect love to others. In the process, we learn it ourselves, we extend it, and that's how the one-man plan unfolds in and through our minds, our lives, how we touch other people through this and so we have a mission in this world, to use the body for the purposes of love. Okay, any other thoughts on that? There's a very short summary. Let me read that. It's only 3 paragraphs, so one paragraph summary. John, if you can read that one.
Yeah. The true self within me is not housed in a body, yet it is central to my life and cannot be separated from me. Although I may not recognize my true self everywhere, especially in bodies, it is always with me, manifesting its innocence and pure formless awareness. My body does not need healing, only my mind, which mistakenly believes it is a body. The purpose of my true self is to envelop my body in pure formless awareness, filling it with innocence, and thus manifesting itself gently and lovingly to heal my mind and others' minds. This is the mission my companions and I share.
Oh. So what's he saying in the summary?
So he's saying here that
Something.
that we are not bodies, albeit that bodies are central to the true self within me is not housed in a body, yet it is central to my life. So my true self is not housed in a body, but it's central to everything that I am and cannot be separated from me. And although I may not be able to see my true self everywhere, it is there.
Hmm.
My body doesn't need healing. It's only my mind that needs healing. Because it gets confused and believe when it believes it's a body.
Hmm.
And my real self is to envelop my physical body with love and innocence, so as it manifests gently and lovingly to help heal the minds of my companions.
Hmm.
And this
Yeah.
is the mission we all share.
Well, so one function, yeah, to awaken ourselves to the truth of who we are, and then to express and extend this to others in and through, the body as a vehicle to help us do that. So the body helps us to walk around, it helps us to speak to people, it helps us to type emails, it helps us to communicate. It's other part of the course he calls the body as a communication device. Purpose is to be used to extend love, and that's your mission, and that's the mission everyone shares. So it's a pretty simple message, but again, a key one: you're not a body, but reinterpret the body correctly, and the body can be useful, even though you're not a body. Body is an illusion, but it can be a useful illusion to your awakening if it's correctly interpreted. Okay, so then we've got a key message, which is just a very short, key summary. So Elaine, if you can read that.
My true self, central to my life, is not confined to my body, but manifests its innocence and pure formless awareness to heal my mind and others. It is always with me, occasionally inability to recognize it. Our shared mission with our companions is to heal our minds by recognizing and manifesting this true self.
shared wisdom with my companions to heal our minds by recognizing and extending, maybe. Rather than manifesting. Manifesting. Does have manifesting originally. So this gives us a sense of, a genuine mission and purpose that's quite inspired and inspiring. Because I have a mission to spread love in the world and to teach my companions who may not know about this true self, and that actually love is really, still there, and it's all there really is. My mission is to help teach that, spread that. Okay, so any other thoughts on this section?
No, it's good section. Putting it into practice.
Yeah, I'm short and sweet, but there's a powerful message as always.
Yeah.
I think the key messages are: you're not a body. You went out of your mind. You went into body. You can't find your identity in the body. But while you seem to have a body, your mission is to use the body to extend love into the world. Very simply put. A shared mission is my true self manifest its innocence to heal my mind and others. So I should just say what I just said. Key message: I am not a body. But self cannot be contained. What is and you cannot be outside me. However, my shared mission with my companions is to heal our minds by recognizing and manifesting this true self. Expressing this true self. Recognizing this true self and expressing it. Right? Expressing it through our bodies. Through the body. words. Okay, so should we just read that again? I think that's tight, isn't it? It's a key message.
My true self cannot be contained in a body, because what is within me cannot be outside me. However, my shared mission with my companions is to heal our minds by recognizing this true self and expressing it through the body's speech and behavior.
Yeah, I think that's the key message, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe just through the body. You want to put speech and behavior. Okay. So we can do a little meditation on this if you want to close the session.
Yeah.
Fancy that? Sort of
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
10-15 minute meditation. All right. So just another recording, make yourself comfortable. Meantime, so just sitting comfortably in your favorite meditation posture. Your feet shoulder width apart, your back straight, cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. You're breathing in, you're noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pause at the top of the inhale and you smile. And your mind, noticing thoughts, emotions, related body sensations going on. Particularly anything that feels negative, negative, limiting, contracted, constricted in any way. And breathe in and you just going to let it all go with the help of your breath. Remind yourself that I'm not a body. I am free. I am still. I remain and I'm still right now. I'm a peaceful presence. Still as perfect love extends me. Doesn't matter what I think I've done or not done. All perfect and imperfection. So you just call upon God's name, which is perfect love's identity. Bring it in, breathe it in again to every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind. And you just blow it out. Out of your breath. And blow it out and let it go, let all those negative thoughts and emotions go like a black smoke. And finding a sense of calm and rest, peace. And into this restful, peaceful state, you're going to introduce the summary and the key message of this lesson. I invite you to both listen and repeat the words. So use your body to make these words manifest when you speak them. So breathing in, nice deep breath in. You hold the breath briefly as you listen to my words. I'll read part of the sentence, and then when I pause and I stop, you repeat the words as affirmations of these profound truths. So breathing in, clench the sphincter muscle, lock the energy in, feel the energy rising up the spine to your heart center. Put one hand in your heart to connect with your heart space as you listen. So the true self within me is not housed in a body. Just repeat those words. Repeat those words. The true self within me is not housed in a body. I mean, my true self. That is within me. It's not housed in a body. And as you exhale out through the nose, you speak those words. Breathing in again, nice deep breath in through the nose. Hold the breath briefly. You listen to the next part of the sentence. So, yet it is central to my life and cannot be separated from me. And then repeat those words. Yet it is central to my life. Breathing in again. Although I may not recognize my true self everywhere, especially in bodies, exhale. Exhale as you repeat those words out through the nose. Breathing in again, maximum inhale breath, full the lungs. Especially in bodies, it is always with me. As we breathe in again, manifesting its innocence and pure formless awareness. And this pure formless awareness is always with you. Breathing in again. My body does not need healing. But only my mind, which mistakenly believes it is a body. Breathing in again. The purpose of my true self is to envelop my body in pure formless awareness. The purpose of my true self is to envelop my body in pure formless awareness. So breathe in this light or pure formless awareness to every pore, every cell. Filling it with innocence. So fill yourself up with innocence, purity. Breathe in this light. It's just a true awareness to every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the loving awareness, pure formless awareness, perfect love. And so this innocence manifests itself gently and lovingly to heal my mind and the minds of other minds. Through my body. As you breathe in again, so this is the mission my companions and I share. And my true self, key message, very short and sweet. And you breathe in again. So my true self cannot be contained in a body because what is within me cannot be outside me. And then again, last deep breath in. However, my shared mission with my companions is to heal our minds by recognizing its true self and expressing it. Expressing it through the body. In our words, our actions, our loving kindness. And so it is. Exhale the truth of that. Just sinking inwards. Watch the breath, step back from body identification. You can do that by just being aware. And so just sink inwards, go within, into the mind, the deeper mind. It's way beyond the body. The body and its sense perceptions is on the surface level. There's really nothing else to do. There's nowhere else to go. Nothing else to think about. Just breathe in and out through your nose. Relax. Be still. And just sink into this healing within your own mind. The truth that lies there forever. Your true self or Christ. And nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. Nothing else to think about. You just breathe, relax, and be still. Surrender to this deep, tranquil stillness. And experience your true self. Fully, completely let it enfold you, embrace you, encompass you completely for the next couple of minutes. or deep silence. Many thoughts come in to seemingly disturb this deep peace of your true self. Just observe them casually and have a little smile. Just the ego trying to distract you from connecting with this deepest self. Breathe in this loving awareness. Remind yourself that I'm not a body, I'm free. I'm still as perfect love extends me. Right here, right now, it extends me in this moment, real time. I'm connected. And you exhale and you blow your out. And you come to rest. So just blow out all this darkness and negative energy, the breeze of your breath. You blow it all out like a dark cloud or black smoke. The ego is leaving you, and its interpretation of your body is leaving you. The body is not important for itself. It's not about the body's pleasure or avoiding pain. It's about using the body as a communication vehicle for the spirit, the Holy Spirit. That's your only purpose and function. That's what Yeshua's telling us. Of sinking inwards deeper and deeper with each breath. So watch the breath flowing in and out. Just take you deeper and deeper. So just gently coming back, deep state into an awareness of the body and the breath, senses and the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in. Noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises, subtle flow of air in through the nostrils, pausing at the top of the inhale, scan your mind. Look at whatever thoughts and emotions are going on there. If there's anything that's at all unpleasant, negative, limiting, contracted and constricted, remind yourself that I'm not a body, I'm free of all of those. I'm still as perfect love extends me. Follow it all out. Feel that extension in your heart. Feel it in your heart center. You put one hand in your heart. On the count of 2, just notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair. Any energy in your heart center, your lower stomach, your groin. Noticing what you're touching, hands. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth. Smell in your nose. Notice all of this from this very still, calm, surrendered state. Set the intention to stay anchored in this state for the rest of the evening. Let it carry you to your bed and on into the week ahead. And so it is. So it's said, so it's done. And on the count of 3 now, open your eyes. So just take a minute to look around. And noticing the various objects in the room in this very still, calm, surrendered way, without any judgment. They just sit there, so your body's eyes are now seeing from this true awareness. And it starts the manifesting or extension of your true self. It starts with changing your perception. That's why it's important. And do that for half a dozen objects. Notice the same feeling, the same underlying peace, whether your eyes are closed or open. So you can close your eyes briefly, do it for a few seconds, eyes closed and eyes open. Whichever object you look at, it's the same peace because it's the same truth. Your true self, which is your true awareness, is always there. You're not a body. And so you look from that state of mind out in peace on the world. And so that brings us to the end of the meditation and the session. So thank you, John. And Elaine's gone, but thank you for the session. Good one. And I wish you a good night and sleep well. And I'll see you tomorrow, I hope. Oh no, tomorrow you don't. We'll do it tomorrow evening. So
Yeah, I won't be there tomorrow.
you have your band practice, but maybe Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, thanks for today, Jono. It's been good.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for joining. Always helpful. Did that clarify something for you in your?
It did. Yeah. It did. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Little adjustments. Okay. See you in the week.
See you soon. Yeah. Cheers, Jono. Bye then.
Okay. Bye for now. Okay, so that's a wrap for the session. Thank you to John and Elaine for joining. If you're not a member and you'd like to join us in these live calls, then look below. Put a link in the chat box. You can do that. Join our next masterclass on Sunday evening. So go register for that for free. You can also subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done that, and receive some of the information that I send out that I included up front in the email that you saw. You can get that sent to you every day for free if you sign up to our Telegram group. So check it out. The links are all below, and I hope to meet you on the inside soon. Namaste. Which means the transcendent self, the true self in me, honors that same true self.